my name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And it's been 25 years since the Paul McGann TV movie came out. Enemy Within. Enemy Within is what we called it at the time. That's what Philip Siegel called it, the producer. And it vanished. It went nowhere. That was actually, I think, the bleakest time in Doctor Who fandom after the McGann movie, because then there was no hope. There was no hope of it ever coming back. In fact, funnily enough, because it's the anniversary, I just watched a really good stream on the Facebook. If you're not a subscriber to that channel, go check it out. They did a really great retrospective stream on the TV movie. Anyway, because I saw that, it inspired me to pull this out, this Doctor Who magazine special. So this was done in, what was it? It says November 2003. So this September 2003. So I think this was probably mostly put together before Doctor Who came back. So this was at the end of the darkest point in Doctor Who fandom, when after the TV movie, when it didn't get a series, and nobody thought it was ever going to come back. Literally, like, just before this came out, just after this came out, they announced Russell D Davies was working on a new series for 2005. So that was like, but basically that was the tail end of it. So anyway, as I said, the thing that really fascinates me is the TV show that never happened, the TV series that this was supposed to be a pilot for. So as I pulled this magazine out because it's got a few good articles on what that TV series would have looked like. I'm going to do a few videos about it. I got the Paul McGann audition reel that I'm going to put at the end of this. If I do more videos, I've also got the John Sessions audition for the role, and Tony Slattery. I got both those. So if I do, I can do another 2 videos on this easy, because there's a ton of information there. There's really a ton of information they put out there, and I'm just really genuinely fascinated by it. Also got the visual effects footage, test footage for the Daleks, which looked pretty darn awful. Okay, so before we get into it, can I ask you, can you hit the like button? That'd be nice. That'd be really super, fantastic, nice. That'd be lovely. I like to be liked. You know, I can't argue with that. Hit the share button. Let everybody know. Let everybody know my every waking moment and thought. That would be great. Subscribe if you can consider hitting the subscribe button. That'd be really nice. Thank you very. It's so helpful. It's so insanely helpful for us independent content creators, which I think, is where entertainment is at nowadays, which is probably why I'm an independent content creator. Like, share, subscribe. If you are subscribed, please make sure you still subscribe. YouTube does unsubscribe people quite liberally. They haven't noticed me for a day or so, but maybe it's okay. When you subscribe, make sure you still subscribe. And comment. Let me know what you think. I will endeavor to reply to any and all of your comments. You're going to be super nice. Go check out my Indiegogo. Go check out my Indiegogo. 2 awesome comic books. I normally do a big plug for it. I'm wrapping this campaign up. It's nearly over, and it takes up too much time on my videos. I'll be honest with you, quite frankly. So, very quickly, we have 2 fan-frickin-tastic graphic novels, biblical Bible stories, Ace the Craziest, Rationalism Rose, kind of like Sandman or Swamp Thing, that kind of vibe going on. 220 pages long. We got 105 pages for the Imperium, a love letter to telefantasy of the 1960s, James Bond, Emma Pill, Doctor Who, Monkey in the Spacesuit, and the Black Slab from 2001, all together in one super group. You get a bunch of extras. You get this pin-up. It's probably going to be supersized to a poster. You get all the for the male gaze cards, wonderful postcards. You can email to your vicar, to your dowager aunt, whoever you want, whoever whoever you think you'll get a laugh out of doing it to. And then there's these posters, Bohemian in Time and Space, The Eyes Have It, Great Balls of Fire, and finally, where was it? Forever Young. The Fourth Doctor and Sarah J. Smith getting all together in the TARDIS, as they were always meant to do. Were they always meant to make this series out of Doctor Who? Clearly not. Although I always wanted Big Finish to do like a box set of like an American style series, like make them 40 2 minutes long, put ad breaks in, and put 5 ad breaks in, like, so you have like mini stingers, mini cliffhangers every like 12 minutes. So there's a real like shape to what that production would have been like from. You go and look at any of the Star Trek scripting books they put out in the 90s. Basically, you've got to follow that format. I would have loved to have seen that. I'd love to do that. But what would that series be like? Right? What is the content of that series? So let's have a look at this. This is from the Bible, the Doctor Who Leakly Bible that was called here. This was, and it really looked fantastic, right? Look at that. They had it hand bound, had the seal of Gallifrey on it, or they made it look Doctor Who-y, right? Made it look very Doctor Who-y. So let's read what this has to say. A revised version of the Bible entitled "The Chronicles of Doctor Who" was assembled by John Leakly. He was the main scriptwriter at the time. Peter Wagg, the producer, and Philip Siegel, the main producer. Peter Wagg, was he a leftover, a hangover from the movie that never happened? The best version of that, I'll put it in the video notes. The best version of that was a Pierce Brosnan movie, directed by Leonard Nimoy. Again, this never happened. This would have been like 92, 93. Would have been directed by Leonard Nimoy, starring Pierce Brosnan. It's essentially what was it, like, they called it again, a Time Bandits-esque a romp. Mainly looking for the segments of the key to time. He had Amelia Earhart as one of his companions. It was good. It sounded fun. Had this extended appearance by Tom Baker in it as well, which is really bizarre. I'll put the link to that in the video notes. So there's a lot of holdovers from that came over here. I think Peter Wagg may have been somewhat involved in it. I can't remember. So this is on Monday, 21st of March, and open up with an introduction from the Spirit Cardinal Barusa, spelt wrong apparently, who had left his body and now existed amongst the crystals of Gallifrey. Right, so fine, we're getting a really different lore. So we're gonna there was a famous line in the TV movie, "I'm half human on my mother's side." This all ties into that, right? We're gonna hear that, and the audition tape by Paul McGann really explains that completely. Just explains that whole thing fast, but again, it was forgotten, it was left behind. The Doctor in charge of the adventures of his grandson, the Doctor. So the Doctor's now Barusa's grandson. The Doctor in the TARDIS searching for his father, Ulysses, explorer, on the blue planet, a world called Earth. The background of how Rassilon gave the Time Lords time travel millennia ago, and how Ulysses, Barusa's son, never returned from one of the first explorations in a TARDIS, was recounted as the tale of Ulysses' other son, the Master, who sought to take the title of President of the High Council of Gallifrey from Barusa. So I think this is fair to say this would have been a very... this would have to have been a separate series, right, from the BBC series, which the Adventure McGann movie wasn't. The Adventure McGann movie was... it started off with Sylvester McCoy, which probably one of the things that killed it, right? Well, interesting enough, I'm always interested in things that didn't happen, things the path not taken. That interest is the thing that actually killed the series. The reason they didn't pick it up is because they already had Sliders, which is about traveling between alternate dimensions. Imagine traveling to a dimension where this was the Doctor Who series. I think it would have run for a good few years. I wonder if there would have been another reboot in like the 2000s. After this one, went to bed. The background gave Tunnel Unity, blah 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 blah. Was recounted as Ulysses' other son, the Master, sought to take the title of the President of High Council from Barusa. After 7 regenerations, the Doctor was the only Time Lord who could stand against the power-hungry Master. So, okay, this is interesting, and his followers. Describing the Doctor's tinkering, secretive, and meddling manner, Barusa cited a conversation the Doctor had with Napoleon the night before Waterloo, on the 17th of June, 1850. So it's not going to be in this video. If I do another one of these videos, and again, I got like a few of these articles to go through. The John Sessions audition is that conversation, right? It really is. It's fascinating. So this is still the Eighth Doctor, which is interesting. Describing the Doctor blend, secret meddlesome manner, Brewster's conversation. We did that with Napoleon. And a subsequent discussion between Brewster's spirit and the Doctor inside the Type 40, stuck in the shape of a police box, about the Doctor's sentimental desire, the sentimental Doctor's desire to interfere. That's a scene in the with Paul McGann. I'm going to put that at the end of this video. When Brewster reminds the Doctor of his quest, the Doctor agrees. Power up the crystals, Cardinal, as they depart for another adventure. So yeah, it's really different, right? And I would have liked to have seen this. I think it's just you got to say this is a different entity from the classic series, which I'm kind of glad is something that didn't happen, right? I'm kind of glad that there is this continuity, but I do like the differenceness of this. Brewster then recounted how, as he neared the end of his 12th and final generation, he proclaimed the Doctor to succeed him as president. The statement divided the Time Lords, and the Doctor then accused his race of having lost their hearts and soul, leaving the Doom City, the Dome City, for the barren desert beyond. So yeah, so look, this lore really continues. The barren desert beyond. The Doctor allowed Master to gain power. Searching for the tomb of Rassilon, the Doctor finally finds the scrolls of Rassilon. Again, that's in the audition clip. And smuggled himself back into the Dome City, where the dying Barusa revealed the Doctor and the Master were half brothers. The Doctor born on the blue planet to a human mother, and that's where it came from. Half human. Again, the last vestige of this Bible was that line, right? If you ever wondered, now you know. Hunted by the Master, depicted with a picture of the Valiant from the Trial of Time Lord. That's in this document here. So okay, the Doctor stole a TARDIS to escape Gallifrey, and Barusa's dying spirit entered the crystals. The Master then sent the Dalek killing machines after the Doctor. On that note, let's have a look at the designs of the Daleks, which were very different. These designs were finally realized, by the way, in the comics, in the 8th Doctor comic strip. I think the first one. And they actually look quite a bit better than this in the comic strip. But here, let's look at this test footage. I'm going to do what I can to enhance the enhance the image, because it's very dark and muddy. I'll see what I can do. But let's have a look at it, and you see it like driving along, and it changes, it grows, and it's kind of, again, this is the Spider Dalek, right? The Spider Dalek, I think basically that's it. There you go. So, inquiring minds wanted to know. Fine. On the 23rd of November 1905, the TARDIS brings the Doctor to Cairo Museum on the trail of Ulysses, where a cigar-smoking Doctor finds a message left by his father in hieroglyphics. Why is he smoking a cigar? That's weird. So now we're deeply into the pilot. So the pilot is, like, again, it's a reboot. It's an origin story. Going on to describe the 5 areas of the TARDIS: captain's quarters, engineering, science laboratory, cloisters, inspired by Logopolis and Cosmos. Brewster then related how the TARDIS travelled to the war-torn planet Skaro at the time-space coordinates 4244.1. That's a little bit of a random bit of information to put in there. Okay, thank you very much. Where the Doctor met the Khalids and found their scientific leader Davros creating the Daleks, depicted as insect-like humanoids. We just looked at them within folding metal shells as a ruthless means of saving his own people from their radioactive wells. So I think one of the really clever things that Russell T Davies did, and it's just this incredible innate understanding of Doctor Who, is to not go for a redesign of the Daleks, right? Not to like go for that very super classic look. And yeah, he had some real input. It was that Mike Tucker built the original Dalek. But while he was building it, I think Mike Tucker, he was the one who said, Russell T Davies came and said, we want to make the base 2 inches wider. right? And that very chunky skirt. It just the most Daleks ever. They just doubled and tripled down on Daleks rather than say going for something like that. Okay. Fine. The Master then arrived and killed Davros, and although the Doctor came up with a plan to use the TARDIS to reverse polarity of neutral, reverse time, and thus Davros, and thus Davros's work. He cannot bring himself to erase the Daleks from history using elements from the 1975 serial Genesis of the Daleks. So this sounds like a kind of karaoke-ish remake of Doctor Who. And again, I'm into it. I'm personally really into it. It sounds kind of interesting to me. It's separate and different from the BBC version. I think it's clear that, right? We can see that right now. Brewster continued to chronicle other Journeys of the Doctor, largely based on serials from the original BBC series. So this is the plan. They were going to remake episodes. As a new series. Speaking of which, that would be awesome. Could you imagine if some of the Lost Stories they remade with Capaldi? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't you like to see Capaldi in a Dalek Master Plan, or Capaldi in the Crusades? Capaldi in, Marco Polo. I'll be up for all of that, right? Capaldi is really the most he can replace pretty much any Doctor with Capaldi, and it kind of gets better, right? Okay, so we finished with the pilot. So largely based on the original BBC series, the Pirates was a reworking of the Smugglers. You could have left that one alone. But now relocated to 17th century Spain with Ulysses as Blackbeard. The Talons of Wing Chang relocated to 1977 serial to present-day New York. And so the Doctor working with the NYPD to locate Grill's lair. Yeah, the reason they moved it to New York was they wanted to set it in the subway system of the New York subway. The 1981's serial Earthshock was now set in 1994, and the Doctor facing the Rain cybotic Cybes as opposed to the original Cybermen. I like that I think this is them. They're supposed to be nomadic, right? But I like that they're vain. That's a really interesting little thing. So Cybes as opposed to Cybermen. The Horror of Fang Rock now set in Nantucket. Why isn't Big Finish doing this? Okay, the more I'm reading this, the more I go, why isn't Big Finish doing this? I was so by this box set. Horror Fang Rock now set in Nantucket, 1906, with the Doctor and Bruce attracted by streaks of light stemmed from another 1977 serial, Celestial Toymaker, based on 1960. That'll be a good one to remake, but now set in 2525, with Barusa discovering the Toymaker's domain to be a vortex controlled by the Master. Don't Shoot on the Doctor was a rework of the 1966 The Gunfighters, which is actually a better story than it's got credit for. Like when I was a young fan, when I was a young whippersnapper, that was the one that everybody said, "Oh, that's awful." That was like a story that everybody wanted to hate. But yeah, I quite liked it. I even liked the musical intros each week. I thought Peter Purcell was quite good singing them. So if the Tomb of the Sides was derived from the Tomb of Cybermen, obviously the Sides revived by the Master. The Yeti, reminiscent of the 1967 series The Abominable Snowman, saw the Doctor visiting Dalai Lama in 1935 for news of his father. So yeah, so again, it's this constant hunt for Ulysses, which gives it gives it kind of a saga shape, which is American TV in the 90s, right? It's called a saga cell, right? You had to have some kind of saga that you would put in the opening introduction for the episode. If you watch, it wasn't a very good show, Space Above and Beyond, which I couldn't work out why it wasn't very good, but it just didn't engage me at all. It started off not being a saga cell, just being like spacey titles, and then they added in a narration at the beginning to make it that. Still didn't save it. But that was 1990s TV. That was the 1990s TV landscape. That's why Babylon 5, I think, really was the perfect time for that. The documentary with Bruce reiterating the Doctor's quest to find his father and his love for the blue planet where he was born. An earlier draft of the Bible, had longer dialogue with the Napoleonic section between the Doctor and Bruce, while suggesting Well, the suggested storylines included the Sibes, in which the Doctor faced a vain Cyberman marauders when answering a distress call from the 21st century Mars, where he hid slaves in a gold mine. What? Where he hid slaves in a gold? I don't understand. The Sea Devils now set offshore in Louisiana. Basically, they wanted to make the Sears Bible, right? And so they wanted to show it's got a lot of stuff ready to go. They just adapted everything. So the Sea Devils, offshore Louisiana, same as the but effectively the same as the 1972 serial. What? Okay, I'm up for this. The Outcast, where the Master falls to the TARDIS back to the wilderness of Gallifrey, and the Doctor finds the Outsiders being attacked by the Sibes, whom he defeats in the manner of Lawrence of Arabia. The only serial in this draft that in this draft have been the Ark in Space. A document generated on Monday 21st outlined the 11 episodes to follow the pilot. The first was Land of Fear, in which the Doctor shows up. Which the Doctor followed up a meeting his father once had with Robespierre in Paris, 1790. This was based on the Reign of Terror. So again, imagine a 42-minute Reign of Terror. I think yes, yeah, okay. I think that sounds pretty darn interesting. Next came the Celestial toy maker. Don't shoot the Doctor, with Barusa now telepathically convincing Iotwerp to arrest the Doctor before he can interfere in the OK Corral shootout. I kind of like this interaction. So it seems like there was no companion. At least no companion. They must have put a companion in. The Pirates without the Blackbeard element, Tomb of the Sibes, Claws of Axos was the sixth outline, with the 1971 serial now set in 1994, and followed from the same year the Daemons, which had been relocated to the Salem, Massachusetts. Yes, that works. That really, really works. Then came Horror Fan Rock, set in Cape Cod, and involving an old lighthouse keeper who, this sounds like a great show. I wouldn't you have liked to watch this show? I would like to watch. I really wish Big Finish, if they make a box set of this, put it out in a VHS box, okay? like I love the box set for the series that never existed. This is what we want, okay? This sounds good. Horror Fan Rock. Episode 10 was Sharda, the unfinished planned story from 1980, which has been more finished than any other story throughout time in so many different forms. In which the Doctor takes another Time Lord called Romana to visit her uncle, the retired Time Lord. In 1994, finally came Earthshock, the version not set in 1994. Oh, version not set. And this revised version, which appeared in the Bible, was delivered on Tuesday, March 23rd, and still included the Outcast. Okay, so there you go. So that was essentially the show that what eventually became the TV movie was supposed to be a pilot for. You see how radically different, like really radically different, it is from the TV movie. And I think how much I think this was done way before the BBC's involvement. The BBC's involvement was almost entirely behind the McGann casting. The Doctor Who magazine, was it 2 months ago? They featured a big thing about this actor called Harry Gorkum, who was big in the 90s, as an English actor in the 90s in Hollywood, who was basically cast as a Doctor. He was going to be the star of this show, which would have been, but they really wanted Paul McGann. They really wanted, and I think that was probably a good idea. Paul McGann, BBC at the time and still now, they needed recognizable names. They needed recognizable names to be able to sell a show, and McGann was reasonably recognizable. So therefore Paul McGann was the guy chosen. So that's a really quite nice segue. We're going to end up with Paul McGann's audition footage, which is really absolutely fascinating. And now we've seen the context in which it was put in, it all makes complete sense. So there you go. I hope you enjoy it. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, and you are Rabbi from another planet. Like, share, subscribe. If you're subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed. Go check out my Indiegogo and have yourselves a fantastic day.
I came to say goodbye.
You have sealed your fate.
Sorry. I'm sorry. All the trouble I've caused you. You gave me a home and no one else would have me. And this really isn't the way I should have repaid you.
I've never seen a Time Lord arrive quite that way. You never have ceased to surprise me. I shouldn't have urged you into politics. Maybe one day you will find what you're looking for.
I think I have.
The scrolls of Rassilon. Show me.
I seem to foretell the future.
Why didn't you tell me?
Excited, Paul, excited.
Hmm?
Excited. You found these scrolls.
I think I have. I think I have.
The scrolls of Rassilon. Show me.
Now, they seem to foretell the future.
Why didn't you tell the Time Lords? It is written that the find of the lost scroll...
Yes. We'll lead these people out of darkness. Yes, I know. It's also written that the finder will be descended from Rassilon, like you, like your son Ulysses, like his son, the Master.
I have a confession to make. Until we perfected time travel, many of our early explorers were lost. My own son, Ulysses, never returned.
A great explorer. Now, he will always be a legend among us.
Ulysses had a second child while exploring the blue planet Earth, by a woman of that world.
But then is he not the rightful heir to the sash? Not the Master.
You are that blue-eyed child. When your mother died, your father sent you back to Gallifrey to be raised among his own people.
The Master. My brother. Why didn't you tell me?
I have held our family together with this secret, because your mother was from Earth, you were of mixed race, and would have never been allowed to be a Time Lord. Everything you have to offer Gallifrey would have been lost. Without a clan to protect you, you would have been sent to the wilderness to live among the outsiders.
I have to look for my father.
And face your brother. Only then you will take your rightful place.